On Fast Track this week, the strongest proof yet that business travel can be bad for your health.
They are more likely to become overweight, they're more likely to have heart attacks, they're more likely to develop diabetes.
Also this week, airline managers erupt as volcanic ash closes airports once again. We go to Uganda, where big cat watchers are being forced to look up these days. And we dig for victory in London. But did we help turn green into gold? Find out later.
Hello and welcome to Fast Track. I'm Rajan Datta. Now, they say that travel broadens the mind, but many of us have suspected for some time now that it also broadens the girth and isn't necessarily always that good for your health. Now, a new study from Columbia University in the United States shows that you are 92% more likely to be obese if you're a frequent traveller. And that isn't the end of it.
124 over 80.
Good?
Very good.
Business travel appears to be one of these situations where it's easier to eat unhealthy than it is to eat healthy, and it's easier not to be active than it is to be active.
In a study of 13,000 people, which includes non-travellers as well as frequent business travellers, the analysis showed that body mass index, which is the accepted measurement for obesity, rises significantly if you travel for 14 days or more in a month. And these trends are reflected in differences in blood pressure, cholesterol and self-reported health status from the sample too.
Many of us are familiar with the stresses and strains of frequent travel, but this new Columbia University research project is the first with conclusive clinical evidence of its dangers.
We're thinking more long-term in terms of cumulative small changes in health behaviors that lead to poorer health outcomes. So if the number of trips individuals are making is going up and up, what we're thinking is there are going to be these small deficits that add up over time to make their health poorer.
Ill health from frequent travel over a long period may be a slow burner, but it's no less lethal for that. John Bishop knows this all too well. Now living in the south of France, from 1967 to the 90s, he was living a jet-setting life as a fashion photographer.
I was traveling non-stop. I was every week virtually taking a plane from London to anywhere in the world, and often doing just a day or a couple of days in New York or Paris, Milan.
Some people may not have much sympathy for a lifestyle involving model shoots in the world's most glamorous locations, but John says he paid the price.
In 1991 I had a heart attack. I had blocked arteries, cholesterol, I suppose. Although I ate quite well, I was never anybody that sort of ate a lot of unhealthy food, but I think the stress and all of that, stressing is a big part.
Dr. Ted Lancaster is an expert in travel-related health issues. Today he's meeting NGO worker Forbes, who's on his way to Pakistan.
Some of the places I've been to, access to, for example, a gym or a swimming pool or even just like a park in which to run in is quite difficult.
I think this research is incredibly important. I've just come back from a travel medicine conference in Boston, and we had loads of papers on malaria, infectious diseases, but absolutely nothing on the risks that frequent travellers have in terms of their cardiovascular status, what might happen to their hearts, their eating habits, their lifestyle issues. So this paper is actually the first that has ever really scientifically made a connection, which a lot of us have believed has been there for years, but never actually documented.
Medical experts warn against the obvious temptations of unhealthy eating, but recognise it's all wrapped up with lifestyle.
They will very often have a very tight schedules, they'll have targets, they'll have a number of different countries, different meetings, they will often cross time zones and then not have time to actually recover. So the whole of their life is sort of telescoped together, and that is very stressful. Little time to relax, sometimes not very good sleep patterns. So all the time having to rev themselves up on alcohol and adrenaline in order to function properly.
Daniela Wagner travels a lot for work as boss of a small ship cruise company. So unhealthy was her lifestyle becoming that 2 years ago she enrolled in a special fast-track Fit to Fly program. It put her on the right path, and just in time, she says. Today, Daniela is slimmer, more relaxed, and still shudders at her former lifestyle.
The most stressful things for me were packing late at night, worried about whether you're going to forget stuff, is the taxi actually going to come, is the flight going to be cancelled because of fog or snow or whatever. So lots of tiny little things which all added up to a very, very stressful experience.
And when things do go wrong,
Yeah.
can you almost feel the blood boiling inside
Yeah.
you, the pressure going up?
Yeah, I put on quite a lot of weight because I couldn't find a way of dealing with the sort of symptoms of tiredness. So the way I dealt with them was by eating.
Obesity, of course, is a very easy symptom to spot. But what about stress? High-powered business travellers suffer most when they feel a loss of control. They're reliant on punctuality, there being no traffic, and most of all, they're reliant on other people. When those things don't come good, that's when you get the consequences of burnout and ill health.
The stress itself increases your likelihood to eat unhealthy food, to put up your blood pressure, and so forth and so on. And we know that stress, just in general, reduces the quality of your life and your psychosocial well-being. So it has a sort of double effect.
So we can identify the problems, but what are the answers?
There's that kind of time pressure, which is very much the way that corporate life is driven. So I think, one of the things that companies could do is just be a little bit more flexible about, for example, saying, go out the night before, stay the night, because you probably do better business the next day.
Companies reimburse employees when they travel for their food, and you could think of a situation where the company would reimburse healthy meals at a higher rate than was actually spent on those meals, which would be a carrot approach. So provide financial incentives to employees to eat healthy.
But how much sympathy should we have for these high flyers anyway?
Now, some people at home might be thinking this is very airy-fairy. I mean, lucky are those people who can go travelling around the world. This person might be thinking, I'm stuck in an office or at home all day, I'm stressed out. These people will retire with a nice big fat pension, they'll retire early, life expectancy is growing longer. What is all the fuss about?
I think those people who travel a certain amount within their comfort zone are probably a favoured minority, because actually they don't have worse health outcomes, and they, on the whole, tend to enjoy doing that. I think the problems are those people who are travelling excessively, more than 14 to 20 days per month, because they become exhausted, they don't enjoy it, it loses its glamour, and it becomes very stressful.
And is so much business travel still really necessary? There are environmental, financial, and now health incentives to cut down. So why not stop?
The reason we still do it is because nothing is equivalent to meeting the person that you want to do business with, whether it's as a supplier or as a distributor or any client relationship, especially in service industries.
After a downturn in corporate travel due to recession and cost-cutting, latest figures show it's on the rise again. The duty for frequent travellers, in the business world in particular, is to ensure that cardiac arrests, obesity and stress attacks don't also rise in tandem.
Now then, let's catch up with what's happening in the rest of the world's travel news.
Drifting volcanic ash might no longer destroy your travel plans if new UK rules are rolled out elsewhere. Planes in UK airspace will be allowed to fly beneath the ash clouds in the future, a move prompted by airline managers who are furious that last week's eruption in Iceland once again grounded hundreds of flights.
If there is ash at high levels over UK airspace, aircraft will still be able to land and take off, staying at safe levels until they get out from under the ash cloud and then gaining altitude.
Appeals from the brother of a missing tourist have prompted the British Foreign Office to publish a warning about crime and safety in Costa Rica. Michael Dixon was last seen in Tamarindo in 2009. His case was featured recently here on Fast Track. In all, 8 foreign nationals have disappeared from the country in the last 2 years. And sometimes oysters and champagne just aren't enough. One hotel in Sweden has begun offering the services of a professional love coach. If you're struggling with the romance bit, one phone call will summon the love guru to your room, where she'll offer what's being called professional coaching. The mind boggles.
Well, there's one way of relieving stress after a hectic journey. OK, stay with us, because coming up after the break, we're heading off to Uganda, where, and this is terrifying, lions can climb trees. And we give Australia's greenest fingers a run for their money at the world's most prestigious flower show. So don't go away.